This is episode 207 of Zen and the Art of Real Estate Investing with my guest, Justin Goodin. Justin is the founder of Goodin Development. They build premium market rate communities throughout Indiana and help busy professionals invest in real estate without the hassle of having to analyze properties, manage tenants, or deal with any repairs. Justin, welcome to the show.
Got me on, Jonathan.
Yeah. I'm always excited to talk syndications and multifamily, but also the story. But I don't know if you know this, my listeners probably do, but I only got started in syndications last year and now I'm a little bit obsessed. So I really do like talking about syndications and I like it as an option for newer investors now. So that's something I'd like to get to. But how did you get started? I think it was on a $44,000 home. That was your first buy.
Correct. At the time, I was going down the traditional path, like most people. Going to college, getting a job, investing in a 401k, buying a house, going like the whole traditional path. But yeah, to answer your question, my first taste of real estate came from buying a single family house on the west side of Indianapolis for $44,000. This is back in 2017, I believe. So yes, houses were that cheap by then or back then. And this was a recently renovated flip, if you can believe that, for $44,000.
Wow.
So that was my first kind of taste in the real estate. At the time, I knew nothing about property investing, raising capital, or partnering with people to, take down some of these larger deals. So again, like most people, when I wanted to get into real estate, the first thing that I thought of, okay, I'll go buy a fix and flip or a rental, which is like all I knew at the time. So went down that path of buying rentals, doing fix and flips. After graduation, my first job was actually working for a bank as a multifamily underwriter, which was, like fantastic experience for like what I do now, kind of seeing how banks underwrite deals, how they evaluate sponsors. So all this sort of, formulated me into going full-time into real estate, really like opened my eyes to the benefits of commercial real estate, apartment investing, raising capital to scale your business. All those things like really propelled me to go into real estate full-time.
Were you mailing smaller lists? Because to me, like when I was trying to mail self-storage, I was really curating the lists tighter because obviously there's not that many. I was looking for just mom and pops. This, like you said, best owner you can find, mom and pop owner living on site. You literally can't do any better. Under market rents, traditional, probably needs some upkeep, but he's just tired. They're tired of doing it. They want to pass it along to someone else. What type of lists were you making? And were you making those smaller to make sure you had at least a better chance of hitting one?
A couple of things about the list. I think if you're contacting owners directly and, creating this list of potential owners, I think you should definitely take more of like a sniper approach to your list and not so much like a shotgun approach. Reason being is like, you're spending time and money contacting these owners. When somebody does contact you, you want that, owner or have a property that's exactly your criteria and something you want to buy. So yeah, my list was very narrowed. I don't know the exact list, but I think it was around, properties between 20 and 50 units built in like the 1970s, things like that, and longer term ownership.
Were there any other things that you were looking for in terms of the, the upkeep? Did you want to do value add, or were you just thinking like, if we get something in this, we'll assess it based on the numbers?
Yeah, I wanted to do value add. I was looking for a property that, intentionally needed some, fix upping and, be able to renovate it, add value to it. Basically like a fix and flip for an apartment complex.
Yeah.
So, when I first toured this property, I just knew it was going to be an awesome deal. Pending got it at the right price, which I feel like we did, but gravel parking lot, like I mentioned, just outdated units. There was like unused space along this area of the building. There was walls and windows, but actually just like nothing that the space is being used for, which is how we added 4 more units to the building and drastically increased the value of that. Yeah, so just a number of different things like that kind of just screamed as an awesome value add deal, and it was a really good investment for my first one.
Yeah, and you must have found out the key that obviously, as you go into larger deals now, when you're in larger deals and you're doing these small modifications, you're like, oh, we built 4 units. That's a gigantic uptick in value, just like getting the rents up $100 across the board. The more units, the more value add. If you have a 100 unit and you can get up an average of 100, you just increase the value like $1 million. Like it's kind of crazy the way you think at it. And is that part of the reason that you saw the difference? Like, well, I could do this with single families, but the work that I do only applies to one, whereas the work here applies to 29 and then 33 units across the scale.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one of my key decisions for going into multifamily or commercial multifamily is that, these assets are treated just like businesses. They're valued just like businesses. So the more income this property is producing, the more it is inherently worth or value. I mean, unlike single family houses where you could dump a bunch of money into it, renovate it, fix it up, the value is still going to be determined by the comps in the area.
Yeah. Yep.
Commercial multifamily, you could have two of the exact same properties next to each other. If one is producing more income than the other, I mean, that one is automatically worth more. So that's a, key distinction in commercial multifamily. But the more you can, force depreciation, increase the rents, increase the value, I mean, you are making that property worth inherently more.
How does someone with you only had, you had bought six, around a handful of single families, but how do you go to development for the first time? Because development's a whole different story. When you guys went to develop your first thing, how did you really learn the construction aspects? Because that's different than understanding the underwriting.
So we have a third party construction company that actually does the work on the property. But for me, I've just always been like a big fan of like partnering with people who actually have more experience in the area than you. So
Yeah.
I was wanting to, stop buying existing properties, stop buying like the whole value add business plan stuff and move into development. So I found a developer who's already experienced in development and it made sense for us to partner on a project. So we both signed on the loan, both raised
Yeah.
capital, are both overseeing the construction process. So it allows us to both, benefit from each other's strengths, but also for me to gain experience in that sort of field as well.
Yeah, that's so smart. And I've actually boiled that back for someone who just wants to do their first flip. I don't recommend it right now, but if you're going to do it, doing exactly what you just said, you can do on just a one single family flip. You partner with
Sure.
someone who's done a lot more flips and you just split it. You go in 50-50. You're going to participate however you hire the person. That's a much safer way to do it. Like you're saying, you're going to do your first if you do your first development project and you've never development, there's going to be all sorts of entitlement issues and permitting things that you're not going to know about. And your expectation of, oh, we'll be done with this in 14 months will be like 4 years, right?